finally got some more information on the future of Halo Infinite, and the Gran Turismo 7 microtransactions are absolutely absurd. Welcome back to another video, guys. If you enjoy daily gaming content, make sure to hit that subscribe button. So it's been a while since we've heard about some sort of potential roadmap, what we can expect upcoming in Halo Infinite. We were supposed to originally get the announcement back in January, but that got delayed. And just yesterday, we got the announcement here for Halo Infinite's update for March 2022, outlining a bunch of things that they are working on, giving us information on how they go about prioritizing things that need to be updated, and then future content. And there is some good stuff to look forward to, so let's go over it. So first of all, they prioritize things in 3 different steps. They first address things negatively impacting the player experience, so bugs, the big team battle stuff that was really bad with the matchmaking, things like that that will really take you out of the game right now if you go in and play. Then they're going to be focusing on completing Season 2 and delivering it as they have promised on May 3rd, and then continuing to work on campaign co-op and Forge and Season 3. Then they talk about Priority 0, and what their Priority 0 is that they want people to be able to keep a healthy work-life balance, all at the same time being able to push out the updates to the games, and this may mean moving slower at times so that they can move faster later down the road. So starting here with their priority number 1, and this is addressing the critical issues within Halo Infinite, the stuff that's negatively affecting the player experience, and trying to get those all worked out. So they have a hot list within 343, which is refreshed every week to prioritize what needs to be fixed, and they have kind of 2 levels within this hot list. They have the stuff that they knew was a problem before releasing the game, but they didn't have time to address it, and now they are working on that, such as things like the Spartan career and the score-based player progression. And then there were other things like unknown issues that came up that they didn't realize until the game launched at scale, and this was things like issues with the anti-cheat system, as well as the big team battle matchmaking issues. And within all these issues, they have them in like 3 categories: stuff that they fixed and cleared, which is the big team battle matchmaking; things that they're still working on, needs more work, but they have made partial improvements to, which is the anti-cheat; and then stuff that is still in active development but hasn't been released yet, which is like the Spartan career, campaign co-op, and Forge. So that's right now priority number 1. Those are the things that they are focusing on and working on. So we move over to priority number 2, and this has to do with Season 2. So we finally got an update for Season 2, as this is expected to launch on May 3rd, and they have more information on the content and the theme around Season 2, which is going to be called Lone Wolves. And the Lone Wolf Spartans are hunters, trackers, they're resourceful improvisers operating deep in enemy territory without resupply or support. And then you get some concept art of what the Lone Wolf aesthetic is going to look like. I think it looks pretty cool, so that's exciting that we finally know kind of the theme around the May 3rd release of Season 2. But it's not just going to be Lone Wolf content like we've seen with Season 1. They go out and they have the Fracture events, which give us other types of armor content, like this one here, which is going to be a Season 2 armor core for the Fracture events. I guess you're going to be able to unlock all this content, kind of like what we had with the Tenray events and getting that armor unlocked. Now, on top of the content, the aesthetic, all that type of stuff, there is going to be a bunch of other updates for Season 2, such as playlist updates, balance changes, new modes, new maps, and specifically a new arena map called Catalyst, and a big team battle map called Breaker. And the new mode is going to include Last Spartan Standing, a free-for-all elimination mode, as well as another new mode named Land Grab, plus the return of an updated all-time favorite mode, King of the Hill. So that's good to see. More content coming, more maps, more game modes. Hopefully we get a bunch of new maps, not just those 2 ones that they mentioned, because I think people will probably be disappointed if there isn't like a handful of new maps to play out and try. Because, I mean, we have some maps now, they're good maps, but obviously if you've been playing this game a long time, you're ready for some new stuff, some new content to be able to run through, and just a new experience when you load into a matchmake game. Here's the concept for the Breaker map, as well as the concept here for the Catalyst map. So not really too much you can see there, but you can see kind of what they're going for. And then finally, priority number 3. I think this is where most people are interested to see what is going on with priority number 3, because this is the work on campaign co-op and Forge. So unfortunately, I'm kind of disappointed right now with what they're saying here about campaign co-op. Not what they're trying to do, but that we're not going to be getting it with the release of season 2 right away. So they say here, we're making great progress on campaign network co-op, and to be clear, this work has been occurring in parallel to season 2, but the reality is that it's going to take more time to land high quality, full featured 4-player network co-op experience in the massive wide open world of Halo Infinite. So that's great. 4-player online co-op, happy to see that. It's going to be a lot of fun jumping in with 3 other people. Great that they're bringing that game mode over, but it's not going to be here right at the beginning of season 2. And they continue here to say, we're also committed to a great 2-player split screen co-op experience on all Xbox consoles, from the original Xbox One through Xbox Series X, and the non-linear wide open sections of the campaign present some big challenges for split screen that have taken us more time to solve. And this seems like kind of an ongoing issue with 343 and co-op with the split screen. You remember with Halo 5, they didn't even have split screen in there, probably because it just couldn't handle it with the Xbox One. And I'm guessing this is the same thing that's going on right now. The Xbox One is severely holding back campaign co-op from Halo because it's just such an underpowered console. Getting 2 people playing at the same time on the same screen with the split screen, rendering everything twice, like that's gonna have huge issues with the Xbox One, and they're obviously having troubles trying to work out how to fix this. I believe fully that if there was no Xbox One involved here, we probably would have campaign co-op easily at the beginning of season 2 and maybe even earlier. Now it's just my guess, my assumption. I could be completely wrong on that, but that's just the way I'm kind of looking at it from reading that. And then they give the really bad news here. This means they will not be able to ship campaign network co-op on May 3rd at the start of season 2, but they're still aiming to deliver campaign network co-op later in season 2, and will share a release date for that and for split screen as soon as they can. So who knows when we're getting this? We don't know how far into season 2 we're going to get it, and hopefully it doesn't continue to get delayed until later. And finally, Forge. Forge is still on its way, and they still have the goal of shipping it at the beginning of season 3. They say that they're making great progress on it, and that they are flighting Forge to a small group of community creators, working closely with them to ensure that all have a terrific experience creating, sharing, browsing, and playing Forge content. So there you have it. And they ended off here with Tactical Ops, which is going to be a season 1 event that is going to be available starting next week. And there's new content to jump into really soon. So there you have it. They finally gave us an update. What we've been waiting for a very long time. It's been, I'd say, pretty poor the way that they've communicated so far with releasing the content, just giving us information of what to expect. So I'm happy that they finally came out and did this. And there's going to be a lot of good stuff to look forward to, but I am disappointed that co-op is not going to be releasing right away with season 2, but at the same time, happy to see all of the new multiplayer game modes, and I think Lone Wolves is going to be a pretty neat aesthetic for season 2. Okay, jumping over here to the absurd microtransactions going in to Gran Turismo 7. Now, this is the second controversy you could say surrounding this game since its release. I actually made a video talking about the first one, and that had to do with review codes and people thinking that PlayStation was withholding review codes from certain outlets, specifically an Australian outlet called Survivor, because they were worried that they would give them a bad review and affect the Metacritic score. Now, I personally don't believe with that hypothesis and that premise. I personally think that PlayStation just gives out review codes to a bunch of people, and sometimes you get a review code, sometimes you don't, especially if you're a smaller outlet, which if you go look at the website ranking of that website, you go see their traffic and all that type of stuff. They aren't a very big website. And the argument that people are saying is that they gave Horizon Forbidden West a 6.5 out of 10, which is why they didn't get the Gran Turismo review code. And that very well could be true. I don't know. I just don't think that's the only reason why. They probably just gave codes out to a bunch of people and lots of other people just didn't get it. That's kind of how review codes work. And on top of that, you look at the previous scores they've given PlayStation games, they've all been like 8.5s and 9s. And there was another website that gave Horizon Forbidden West a 6 out of 10 or a 60 on Metacritic, and they got a review code for Gran Turismo. So I don't think there's really any evidence pointing towards that they were purposely just holding out a review code from Survivor. I think that's kind of just a fake outrage thing that the website did because they didn't get the review code and they were mad. Therefore, people jumped on it. But that's my opinion. You guys can think whatever you want on that. Now, this here, I think, is far worse than any of that other stuff that people were talking about earlier this week. This is actually pretty bad in my opinion. And this has to do with the microtransactions within Gran Turismo 7 that are just absolutely crazy and way more than what they were with Gran Turismo Sport. And on top of that, which is the worst thing of them all, is they say here during the review period, microtransactions were inaccessible. So that alone tells you that Sony was making sure that reviewers couldn't comment on this, which would artificially increase the reviews for the game. Let's go over the microtransactions. First of all, Gran Turismo 7. It's already a $70 US dollar game. In Canada, it's I believe will be a $90 Canadian dollar game. Yeah, just confirming that. $90 here in Canada for Gran Turismo 7, which is just crazy. And you add that price plus the crazy microtransactions that we're going to talk about here. So there are 4 packs of credits available on the PlayStation Store when it comes to microtransactions for Gran Turismo 7. You have 100,000 credits at $2.50, 250,000 credits at $5, 750,000 credits at $10, and then 2 million credits at $20. Now they say here that the cars in the games range from tens or hundreds of thousands of credits for lower spec vehicles to many millions of credits for the most high performance ones. And the big difference here is that in Gran Turismo Sport, they say the vast majority of cars cost between $1 to $5, but in Gran Turismo 7, it's completely different. So a specific example is a Porsche 919 Hybrid 16, which can be bought for $3 in Gran Turismo Sport, can only be bought for 3 million credits in Gran Turismo 7, which would require you to spend $40 to purchase that car, which makes 0 sense for a digital car, digital asset, $40 for it. And are people going to be spending this money? We'll have to wait and see. Maybe they know people will spend the money because it's for car enthusiasts, so it's a very niche market, I guess. I mean, it is a niche game if you're a car enthusiast, but somebody like myself, I've played Gran Turismo since like the PS2, and I've always enjoyed the Gran Turismo game, so I was really looking forward to this one. And I'm in no way a car enthusiast. I just kind of like the Gran Turismo series. So we continue on here. There's the Aston Martin Vulcan, which was $5 in GT Sport, and it's going to cost $40 in GT7. McLaren P1 GTR, $5 in GT Sport, $40 in GT7, and the Audi R18 TDI, 3 million credits in GT7, which will be again $40. So these microtransactions are very predatory. They're very insane. Although you're not forced to actually go out and purchase them, the question here, which I think is the really bad thing, why are they so much more expensive than Gran Turismo Sport, and why did they withhold the access to these microtransactions for the review period? And I think the answer to that is they knew there would be a lot of bad press out there about these microtransactions, which would bring down the overall score, which I guess can give you more evidence to the fact that Sony is really trying to up their review scores, and they will do things like this in the review period to make sure that they don't get dinged. So we'll have to wait and see how this plays out. Maybe it's a mistake. Doubtful. Maybe they will change it in the future. That will only happen if people don't buy it, but I'm hoping they do, because I would like to play this game at some point, but definitely not now. Definitely not with this type of stuff in the game, and I will not be buying this game full price. Now it's been completely solidified in my mind. I will wait until this game goes on a deep sale, and hopefully by that time they've changed all of this microtransaction stuff. That's it for me, guys. What are your thoughts on the Halo Infinite update and the Gran Turismo 7 controversies going on this week? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you're new here, if you enjoy what you saw, consider hitting that subscribe button. Thank you guys all for watching. Thank you for your support, and I'll catch you in the next video.